Hello, how are you? My name is Hayley and welcome back to Set to Hike. This is a channel that is all about hiking. And in today's video, I'm going to show you one of my favorite dehydrated recipes that I take hiking, which is honey beef stir fry. So let's get straight into it. For this recipe, you will need 350 grams of mushrooms, 2 teaspoons of sesame seeds, 500 grams of lean minced beef, 3 garlic cloves, 1 chunk of ginger, 1 head of broccoli, 1 spring onion, 4 servings or roughly 200 grams of rice noodles, and 3 large handfuls of spinach. To make the sauce, you will need 2 tablespoons of olive oil, 2 tablespoons of sesame oil, 1/4 cup of soy sauce, 1/4 cup of honey, 1 tablespoon of fish sauce, and the juice of 1 lime. Step 1. Wash and prepare your vegetables. You can pat dry your spinach with a paper towel to help get rid of excess water. Now the slicing begins. Chop your spring onion into small chunks, about 1 centimeter big. Place them into a bowl and set aside. For the mushrooms, you will want thin slices, no bigger than 1/4 inch thick. Finally, grate your garlic cloves and ginger together. So the broccoli has one little extra step. You're going to slice it just the same as you would with your mushrooms, but this time you're going to blanch it as well. So that just means boiling some water, putting your broccoli into the water and let it go for about 30 seconds and then drain it. You don't have to do this step, but I like to do this with vegetables that are a little bit harder. Step 2. Heat up your pan and place on your beef. One of the biggest things to consider when dehydrating food is to minimize as much fat as possible, so we won't be using any oil. Just make sure your pan is non-stick. As the meat is cooking, chop down any larger chunks, as the smaller the pieces, the faster it can dehydrate. Once your beef is cooked, remove it from the heat. Step 3. Place your cooked meat into a strainer. Boil a full kettle and pour boiling water over your meat. This helps to reduce the fats within the meat. You can then rinse the meat under the tap with warm water. Sift through the meat with your fingers. This is your chance to break down any more larger chunks of beef. This rinsing process will also help reduce any of the fats. You can stop rinsing once you feel the meat is no longer greasy on your fingers. Now all your elements are ready for the dehydrator. Obviously dehydrators will have lots of holes in them for airflow, but when you put small bits of food onto the tray, it's just going to fall straight through. So most dehydrators will come with something like this, which is for fruit roll. One is not going to be enough in this case, so you can make small little bits of aluminium foil and just put your food onto the foil and put your foil onto the tray. Step 4. Wait for the meat to cool before placing it onto the trays of your dehydrator. Evenly spread the beef and the vegetables onto the trays. Turn your dehydrator on to its highest setting. While your food begins to dehydrate, we are going to make the sauce. You're actually going to bring along this sauce separately as opposed to dehydrating it within your meal, and that's mainly because of the oils and the honey, but it's also pretty good to be able to bring along a real sauce and pour it over your meal as it's rehydrating. So because this recipe serves 4, you're just going to divide the sauce into the amount of servings that you would bring for your trip. So in this example, I'm just making 1 lot of sauce for 1 serving. So I'm just going to divide the sauce into 4, and I'm using a little bottle that was an old body wash bottle. Step 5. Keep checking back on your dehydrator every couple of hours to rotate your trays and make sure that there are no larger clumps that have stuck together. Time will vary depending on your dehydrator, but this process usually takes 8 to 12 hours. You know your food will be done as the vegetables will become quite brittle and the mince will become quite hard. So as you can see, I've got each element on a plate, including the noodles and the sesame seeds. So now all you have to do is put it in its packaging, ready for your hike. So because this recipe serves 4, I'm just going to divide each element into 4 and put it into a Ziploc bag. Remember that you can also vacuum seal your food if you own a vacuum sealer. Don't forget to put the sesame seeds and the noodles into your bags. So just quickly, I thought I would demonstrate how you can rehydrate your food. So you want to boil just enough water so that it will cover just the top of your food. So once your water is boiled, you can put your food in and let it sit for about 10 minutes. Then you can add in special sauce. It can be tricky at first to judge the right amount of water you need, but you'll soon have the eye for it. Boiling your water first will save on fuel. After your food has sat for 10 minutes, your honey beef stir fry will come out the other side edible and delicious. So that's it for this recipe. Don't forget to write on the packaging the date that you made it and what's inside. I'm going to store these in the freezer, but if your next trip is really close by, you can just store these in the fridge. So thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.